you're just joining us, can somebody let me know if you can hear the music going behind us? Hey, Linda. Hi, Anissa. Oh, good deal. You can hear it. Good. I'm happy you're here too, Colleen. I think the Groves are here. Hi, Brooke. Becky, you're here all the way from Ohio. Yay! I'm glad you got here, Wes. For those of you that are already here, we're actually going to start tonight on our backs using the blanket, or I guess maybe grabbing, making sure that you've got 2 pillows and a blanket. We're going to start lying on our backs, having the pillow underneath our knees to lift them off the ground, and using the blanket just folded under your head. I'm in surround sound at the Grove household. So if you just joined us, we're going to be using 2 pillows and a blanket. We're starting lying on our backs with a pillow under our knees, a blanket under our head. You can see my hubby on the floor there modeling for us. We'll start in just a minute. For now, just getting into your own space. Hopefully you've turned the lights out or low. Maybe lit a couple of candles, something nice and peaceful, relaxing. Thank you all for joining. I'm excited to share practice tonight. A lot has happened today, and I feel heavy myself. And I know the thing that makes me feel better is this magic, my safety blanket here, this magic space that we create for ourselves on our mats. So we'll start lying on our back, pillows under our knees, using a blanket under our head. Letting the legs be heavy. Imagining first that your body is very light, almost as if you're floating out of your body up towards the ceiling. And then feeling yourself very heavy, grounded into the earth. Paying particular attention to that lower part in your back, that place of the root chakra, grounding in. Taking a deep breath in through the nose and exhaling audibly, letting it go. I decided to do a little bit of a guided meditation tonight, hopefully to help you release any thoughts that have been creeping around. So imagine yourself walking through the forest. In a meadow, maybe there's a few trees. Maybe you stop to notice a flower. Taking a deep inhale, taking in the scent of that flower, of that field, of that space around you. Noticing that there's a little stream nearby. Walking towards that stream. Taking a seat, finding somewhere comfortable. Close to the edge. Maybe your feet dangle in the water. Around you, you'll notice that there are a lot of fallen leaves. And I'd like you to imagine, as a thought comes up, that you simply pick up a leaf, put your thought onto that leaf, and then lay it in the river, watching it float away. Keeping a nice, calm, even breath. Noticing when a thought arises, placing it on the leaf, and letting it float away. Not trying to make it move any faster or slower than it is naturally. Continuing to allow these thoughts to float away. Knowing that we have this option to release and let our thoughts float away whenever we want. Noticing them for what they are and letting them go. Taking just a few more breaths here. And when you're ready, we'll take a nice deep inhale through the nose. Exhaling through the mouth. Once more, inhaling through the nose. Letting it go through the mouth. Wiggling your fingers and toes. Bending at the elbows. Rotating the ankles. Very carefully rolling to one side and pushing that blanket, those pillows out of the way to make some room to find yourself on your back. Bringing those knees up into the chest. Finding stillness here first. And then maybe finding a rock side to side. Maybe bringing the toes to touch the floor and back up. Massaging that lower back. Front to back, side to side. Taking the hand to the knees and beginning to draw tiny circles on the ceiling. Letting them get larger and larger. When you've made the largest circle you can, reverse the direction, starting with the large circles, round and round, working to the smallest circle until you find stillness once more. Keeping that right knee held tight towards the body, letting that left leg come long. Maybe finding some movement here. Letting that hip open a little bit. Some tiny circles here with that leg. Taking the right knee in the right hand, the left hand comes to the floor. We'll open that right knee up to the side. And because we're yogis and we know that we store so much tension in our hips, maybe we're consciously thinking about releasing and letting go. Not just our body, but also our thoughts, our emotions, giving yourself time to rest. Taking that knee up through center, we're going to bring it over the body to the left side, coming into our first twist. You can adjust the hips here so that they can come to stack. That right hand on the floor now. This left hand either on the knee or on the floor. It's up to you. Sending that breath into the lower back. Imagining how the spine is twisting and turning and releasing. Bringing that knee back through center, maybe readjusting your hips. Bringing the left knee up to meet the right for just a pause. Letting that right leg come long. Hugging that left knee in tight. Maybe taking it into some tiny circles, rotating into that hip socket. Going both directions. Imagining that release on this side as well. Taking that left knee into the left hand, letting it fall open, whatever that looks like for you. Letting that right hand be firm to the ground. Noticing if the tension moved from your hip to somewhere else in the body, maybe the face or the jaw. Maybe that tongue is pushed up against the roof of the mouth. When you're ready, we're bringing that knee through center. Option here to lift the hips so that they can come to stack, or just float all the way over. Bringing that right knee over to the left side. Finding places to breathe. Sometimes when we're twisted, it gives us an opportunity to think about sending our breath into areas that we don't typically think about. Breathing through the side, maybe through the back. Releasing that left knee, coming back through center. Hugging those knees nice and tight. Taking one more rock side to side. And then taking a few rocks back and forth, maybe 4 or 5, not coming right up into a seat, but maybe giving that back a nice massage before you come up into that easy seat. When you're ready with that massage, we'll find ourselves in the easy seat. We're working in a few restorative poses tonight. So sometimes we'll be sitting for a while, sometimes we'll be holding poses for a while. We'll be seated not for too long, but if it makes sense or if it feels good to you, you can take a pillow and put it under your seat, or maybe use that blanket to rise the hips a little bit. Here we'll breathe in, arms coming up overhead. Exhale, coming forward into our first forward fold here. Coming to a place that feels good for you. One of the beautiful things I think about having a home practice is not being able to watch the person next to you. Giving a chance to close the eyes. Stop thinking about what you look like. Going a little bit deeper and feeling what you feel like. When you're ready, we'll walk up very slow. Taking a few side bends here. So we'll plant the right hand to the floor. This left hand will come up nice and tall. Stretching, finding length here, and then folding over to that right side. Working here to keep that chest forward, that gaze up under the arm. Letting that light shine out from that heart space. Imagine sending it to all of our friends who are sitting on the floor at their houses doing the exact same thing right now. Lifting up through center, planting the left hand. Right arm comes nice and tall. Find some length here. Bending over to that left side. Again, imagining yourself as that superhero with that beautiful beam of light coming out of that heart space, sending it to the homes, the friends and family that you miss. Our friends and family that are here. Releasing, coming back through center. We'll bend one more time over to the right side. We're gonna flow and move here a little bit. So we'll take the fingertips of the left hand to the floor, drawing a circle on the ground, coming over to the left side, letting that right arm come overhead. Letting the right hand come to the ground, drawing a circle, flowing here with your own breath. Letting that left hand come up overhead. 3 more times, forward and back. With your own breath. Once more. When you're ready, we'll meet in an easy seat. Inhaling those arms up overhead. Exhaling those hands to heart center. Tucking the chin. Closing the eyes. Pushing that thumb right into that sternum in that space. Connecting those hands of gratitude to that heart. Inhaling, arms up overhead. Exhaling, folding forward once more. This time just pausing in the center for a moment. When you're ready, walking those hands over to the right side. If you can feel that stretch in the hip, imagine letting go. Imagine putting it on that leaf and letting it flow down the river. Walking those hands over to that left side. Letting that head fall, that chin tuck. Mine's just up so you can hear me. Coming back through center. Rising up nice and slow. Switching the legs so that the left is out front. We'll take a couple of neck stretches here, working into 3 different areas of the neck. So starting first by clasping the hands in front of us and really pushing them towards the floor in a way that your shoulder blades begin to separate. You may even start to feel a little bit of a pull on the back of the neck. We'll take the right ear to the right shoulder. And the more stretch you feel, the harder you push into those arms. Taking the left ear to the left shoulder. Releasing the hands to the knees, rolling the shoulders back. Taking the right ear to the right shoulder here, moving into the side of the neck. Taking the left ear to the left shoulder. Back through center. This time clasping the hands behind the back, pulling those shoulder blades together, letting that chest come out, letting the shoulders roll back. Trying not to let the chin jut forward too much, but taking those same bends here, right ear towards the right shoulder, moving into that front part of the neck. Through center to the other side. If you're like me, as the day moves on, my shoulders tend to crawl up towards my ears. You can tell how tense I am by how much of my neck is left at the end of the day. Releasing the head through center, letting those arms go. We're gonna set up for our first restorative pose. So we are gonna do a supported fish with the pillows that you have. If you happen to have a bolster or blocks and want to do an alternate version, go for it. We are not gonna be here super long, like in a yin class, but just for a couple of minutes. So we're stacking the pillows on top of each other. You can use as many as you like. You can pull a couch cushion off, it'll do the same thing. The higher it is, the more of a bend you're gonna get in the lower back. Or sorry, the lower it is, the more of a bend you're gonna get in the lower back. So just do what feels right to you. So we'll turn to the side. We'll bring those pillows towards the base of the back. We'll go ahead and lay back on those pillows, letting the neck fall back, letting the arms come out to the side. Depending on the size of your pillows, your neck may roll back, your neck may not roll back. Making adjustments where you need to so that it feels like a nice, easy, and peaceful place that you can hang out for a couple of minutes. Closing the eyes here. Noticing the places in our body that are open. So that chest is wide open, that heart space. Oops. Our necks are long and open, that throat chakra. Another place that we tend to hold on to. Noticing if there's things that you haven't said, been holding on to, your neck might be a little tighter. Noticing also how that crown is reaching towards the floor, grounding in. Taking just another 3 or 4 breaths in this space. If your thoughts begin to take over in any of these restorative poses, take yourself back to that stream, that meditation that we did in the beginning. And gently place those thoughts on those leaves and send them down the river. Taking your last breath in this space. Gently lifting your head and rolling off of those pillows to one side or the other. Finding yourself in this fetal pose for just a minute. And when you're ready, pushing yourself back up to a comfortable seat. Taking the hands to the knees, we'll move into a few body circles here. So starting over to the right, taking your chest down to that right knee. Cross the body to the left knee, back up, around the back, nice and slow. Over to the right knee again. Maybe working your neck into this, tucking the chin, letting it fall to the side, letting it fall back. One more at your own pace. And when you come back up to the top, we will start going to the other side, going to the left knee first, letting the chest fall, coming over to that right knee. Rolling back, maybe integrating the neck. Maybe that doesn't work for you. And the beautiful thing about yoga is that we can make anything work for us in a way that's healthy, and that feels good, and that feels balanced. Coming back up through center here. We're going to take a couple of forward fold flows. I don't know what else to call them. But we are going to take our arms up overhead, folding forward. Very slowly here, dragging the fingertips as we start to stack our vertebrae one by one, very slowly, dragging those fingertips across the ground. When you get up towards the top, the hands come all the way to the knees, the shoulders come up towards the ears, roll down the back, and take a little peek up towards the ceiling. The neck comes back to neutral. Inhaling, we lift up. Exhale, we're folding forward. Dragging those fingertips back up on the inhale. To the knees, the shoulders come up towards the ears, roll down the back, we take a peek up towards the sky. One more with your own breath. finished with that movement, we'll switch the legs up, giving us an opportunity to work a little bit deeper into the opposite hip. So same thing goes here. We're gonna lift up on the inhales, folding forward on the exhales, taking those fingertips and dragging them across the floor, stacking those vertebrae, moving very slow, hands to the knees, shoulders to the ears, rolling them down the back, taking a peek up. 2 more with your own breath. Inhales, we lift. Exhales, we fold. Inhales, we draw those fingertips across the floor. Hands come to the knees, shoulders slide up towards the ears and then down the back as we peek up towards the sky. 1 more on your own. Keeping that breath. When you're ready, we are going to move into our hands and knees. So, letting the legs come to one side or the other, finding yourself in this hands and knees position. Beginning to work through some cats and cows here. So first, dropping the belly, letting the tailbone tip up towards the sky, letting the gaze come up, pushing through those shoulders so that your arms are nice and long and strong. Exhale as we crunch it all in. The tailbone tucks down, the chin tucks. We look towards our knees and we still push really strong out of those shoulders. So taking a few cats and cows here with your own breath, and maybe incorporating some other movement that feels good to you. You can peek over your shoulders at your toes. You can start to sit back into a child and maybe flow back and forth from a child into a cat, into a cow, back into a child. So moving with your own breath for just a few breaths. When you're ready, we'll meet sitting on our heels, on our knees here. If this doesn't work for you, you can be sitting on a block. You can roll up your blanket and tuck it underneath your bottom. You could sit on those pillows, or you can find a different movement that works for you. Here, we're going to take these arms strong down to our side, almost as if we're in a mountain pose, seated here. Taking a breath, closing the eyes, feeling strong, letting those shoulders walk down the back. Sweeping the arms up as we come to stand on our knees, looking up between those hands. Exhales will take us down, letting those arms sweep back, folding into this tight little ball. Inhales, sweeping up, coming to stand on the knees. Exhales take us down, arms behind the back. 3 more of these on your own. When you're ready, we'll meet back, seated on our knees. Taking our pillows in front of us, we can do this either on pillows or without pillows. It's really up to you how your shoulders are built, how much of a stretch you'd like to have across the chest. Again, we'll be holding these for a few breaths, letting them be restorative for us. So make sure that you're comfy, whatever you decide. So we'll go to hands and knees, letting the right knees shift over towards the right side, coming to a seat on this left hip. We'll let our chest come towards the pillows. The arms can be in cactus here. They can be out wide. They can be wherever it feels good to you. Your legs can be stacked. You can play around with maybe moving that top knee towards the bottom of the other foot. You can do the same thing coming all the way to the floor without using the pillows. Letting that gaze be over towards the right, possibly over towards the left if you'd like a little bit more of a twist into that spine, into that neck. Breathing here. Maybe acknowledging that what yoga really teaches us with the breath is how to move our bodies in these positions that we're not normally in. Sending a signal to our brain that says, whoa, wait a minute, this isn't what my body is supposed to do. It doesn't know the difference between you being in yoga or being somewhere scary, twisted up. But when we start to marry the breath with these movements, we start to go deeper inside, retraining the brain to find peace in these positions. That's where the real magic starts. Two more breaths in this space. When you're ready, bringing those hands back towards the shoulders, pushing the top part of your body up first. Finding a way to gently lift that hip. Make it back towards center so that you're over top of those pillows, maybe wagging those hips side to side. Resetting, getting ready to go over to that right hip so those legs come over to the left. Sitting on that right hip, and when you're ready, we fold down either onto the floor or the pillows, same as before. Letting those arms be long out to the side in T, maybe in cactus. Maybe they have a different purpose or place. Being conscious of where you put your neck. Take your gaze, whether it's to the left or to the right. Here, maybe noticing how that breath can be moved into that space in the back. We're used to breathing through the front of our body, letting those ribs expand and open. We can do the same thing and take notice of the back, what happens when we let those lungs really expand, letting that back become wide. Noticing any thoughts that pop up while we hold these restorative poses. Just reminding yourself to gently let them float away. Two more breaths on this side. When you're ready, letting those arms come back to the sides, the hands under the shoulders, pushing up the top part of your body first, and then lifting off the hip, bringing those knees back to the mat. We'll keep the pillows right in front of us, taking the toes, big toes together, letting the knees come out wide. Allowing ourselves to take a supported child here, or a full child. If you'd like a supported child, you can leave the pillows right between your knees, folding forward, resting one cheek or the other, letting the arms be at your side or letting them come long. If you'd like to take the full version, you're welcome to do so. Letting the forehead come to the floor, letting those arms be out long in front of you. If you're taking that full child, maybe rocking the forehead side to side, waking up that space in the third eye. We're doing a lot of work with the hips here, moving them in different directions. A lot of opening that heart space from the front and back. All things that are extra important right now. When you're ready, we'll lift out of that child. Coming into a seat just for a moment, however you can get there. Grabbing that blanket that you've got somewhere nearby, I hope. You could do the same thing with blocks. It just feels really nice and restorative with a blanket. But you want to roll that blanket. I do believe that my sister-in-law Becky is on here. She made this blanket for me. I'm rolling it into sort of this log shape and setting it on your mat. Depending on how this feels, you may need to make a little adjustment, make it flatter, make it bigger. But we'll take it. We're actually aiming to have that placed just underneath our shoulder blades. So you might need to wiggle around just a little bit to get there. But when you get there, letting the heart rise just a bit here. Letting the shoulders come down. Letting the arms come out to the side. Again, making any adjustments if you'd like to go a little deeper, then maybe you're rolling, maybe you're adding a blanket or another pillow here. If you've got blocks, you can be laying on a block as well, placing a block just under those shoulder blades. Noticing in this space if you're actually tensing that space just below the shoulder blades where you're lying on this roll here, or blanket or towel. Noticing if you're holding that tension, what happens if you try to really relax those muscles. If you try to relax the mind. If you try to let it go. I'm sorry if you can hear my doggy whining in the back. Taking a couple more breaths in this space. When you're ready, rolling to one side or another for just enough space to get that blanket out of the way so that you can come back to just lying flat on the mat on your back. Bringing those knees up into the chest. Taking a rock side to side. Letting the arms come out into T. Letting the legs fall over to that left side. Letting those knees come towards the floor. Deciding here if you'd like to stay put, stay still. Something that I like to do is take this right hand up towards the sky, almost drawing a rainbow across my body with my fingertips, bringing the palms to touch on the left. Taking those fingertips, dragging them up that left arm, across the collarbones, opening all the way back up into T. So moving with your breath, inhaling up and over, holding, exhaling, dragging those fingertips up across the body. One more time, finding that flow, or taking a couple more breaths, lying still. It's up to you. When you're ready, those knees will come through center for just a moment, falling over then to the right side. Same thing on this side, finding stillness or taking that left hand, drawing that arc, that big rainbow over top of your body, bringing the palms to touch on the right side, dragging those fingertips up the arm, across the body, and open. 2 more times with your own breath, taking that flow. In energy medicine, there is a meridian that runs from your fingertips up your arm and into that space of the collarbone. And so when we take these flows, we're filling, replacing some of the energy that's lost in that meridian. You're ready, those knees come back through center. I'll give you a couple of options for our relaxation slash shavasana. You can either take this blanket that you've rolled into kind of a log and lie it across the mat lying on it so that your spine comes to lay on this elevated part, sort of opening up the shoulders a little bit. Or using this as your pillow once more, using the blanket as the pillow and letting the pillows come under the knees so that it lifts the knees and takes some pressure off the lower back. If you've got a different idea, go for it. Maybe you want to cover up with that blanket. Maybe you want to use the blanket to put over your eyes to go a little bit deeper. We'll be working through a progressive body relaxation. So I'm going to be calling out parts of the body. And the response for you in your head will be relax. So I will say, for example, toes. You imagine relaxing those toes, and in your head, your response to my word toes is relax. Taking a deep breath. Starting with the toes. The foot. The ankles. The shins and calves. Thighs, the hips, the entire leg, relax. The lower back, the lower belly, the mid-back, upper belly, the upper back and shoulders, the collarbones and the chest, that entire mid-body, relax. The fingers, hand, your wrist, forearm, upper arm, the entire arm, relax. The back of the neck, the front of the neck, the ears, the back of the head, the jaw, the lips, your tongue, the nose, eyes, forehead, the top of the head, the entire head, relax. Feeling the entire body all at once. Relax, rested and safe as we take our Shavasana. Starting to wake the body. Maybe before moving, checking in to see how you feel right now. Knowing that you have it in you to come to this place anytime you need. Beginning to wiggle fingers and toes. Maybe rotating wrists and ankles. Stretching out long, letting those arms come up overhead, pointing those toes. Taking a deep inhale, an audible exhale. Once more. And one more for good measure. When you're ready, comfortably rolling easily, slowly to one side or another, coming into this fetal pose. Our reset button, our restart button, our refresh button. All of those things are available to us coming out of our practice. When you're ready, taking that top hand down in front of you, pushing yourself up to an easy seat, whatever that looks like for you in your body. Bringing those hands to heart center and rubbing them together, creating some friction, energy, gathering all that goodness in your practice. I usually ask people to close their eyes and place these hands wherever you need it, and you're welcome to do that. But tonight, I might suggest we all hold our hearts, knowing that collectively we're all doing the same thing at the same time. Maybe sending our light to one another, hoping that you can feel mine through this practice. Bringing the hands together, tucking the chin. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace in body, peace in speech, and peace in mind. Namaste. I hope that you all have a wonderful evening. I know some of you, I don't know some of you. I hope to get to know some of you. I miss having our time in the studio, but I'm feeling really grateful for all these classes online right now. So have a beautiful night.